Okay, Kieran, welcome to Between Two Tokens. Thanks so much for joining. How you going?
Good, thanks, Leo. Thanks very much for having me.
No problems. And your pre-interview, we just discussed that you're kind of just living around the corner from me in freshwater Sydney. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm looking outside and it's light at the moment, which is very, very unique for these interviews. Usually I'm doing them at like 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. or some crazy hour. So it's very refreshing to know that you're a stone's throw away from where I'm based.
Yeah, that's next time maybe it'll be outside catching up in person. So that's something to look forward to. You're the co-founder of Illuvium Games, and for those that don't know of you, could you please just introduce yourself a bit more and how did you end up working in the gaming and the blockchain space?
Yeah, so it's a bit of an interesting one. I was working in a company that had dealings with the first over-the-counter Bitcoin exchanges in Australia, and that was probably 5 years ago now that I was in that position, and that gave me exposure to blockchain, and I started investing in things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then a couple of years went by. I ended up starting another startup, and my brother Kane, he actually runs Synthetic Protocol, and so he did really well over a 2-3 year period, and he basically kept on nudging me and saying, Kieran, you got to get back in. You got to start, at least start investing. And so I started doing that about 18 months ago now, and then after getting back into it for about 4 or 5 months, I saw this niche in the NFT market, and particularly in gaming. And there just wasn't any really, really compelling title that made me want to play it. But what drew me into it was this new play to earn style of gaming, which had just started taking off. And so I thought, what would happen if we built a really, really good game, a AAA quality game, and then added in the DeFi elements and the play to earn elements. If we can pull that off, then we're onto something here.
Yeah, wow, it's exciting and a very exciting time to be in crypto and you're getting traction, I see. And could you tell us how did your staking launch go?
It was good. We had we're giving away. I think a lot of people were sleeping on this fact that when we first started this, yield farming was a huge thing, and it was a massive buzzword that was going around, and so we portioned off 30%, 40% if you consider in-game yield, but just purely staking. 3 million ILV will be issued over a 3 year period, and that equates right now to 240k somewhere. Sorry, 240 million, somewhere around there. So and effectively to get that yield, all you need to do is purchase some ILV and then start staking it, and you'll start earning those rewards. So it's been really, really good. I think when we first launched, we were sitting at about $45 to $50 token price, and now we're up around the 80 mark. So yeah, the take up for staking has been exceptional. I think we've got like 45 million that are staked in our contracts. Everything seems to be running smoothly. We had a couple of little hiccups, but we've worked them out now. So overall, super happy.
Yeah, fantastic. And we're seeing a lot of blockchain gaming organizations take on DeFi. So how is DeFi reshaping blockchain gaming in general?
Essentially, it's taking the power from these centralized studios or centralized entities, and it's giving it back to the players. That's the biggest thing. And if you look at something like League of Legends, for example, I've gone and spent probably $2,000 on skins over the last 4 or 5 years. When Illuvium launches, our game is very similar to theirs in the team fight tactics. And I'm going to move from playing TFT to Alluvia, right? And at that stage, I look at it and I go, okay, well, I've got $2,000 that I've sunk into this game, but I can't do anything with it. I don't actually own those skins. I own them within the game, and I guess you could say my account owns them. But unless I'm willing to go onto, say, a black market or whatever, and literally sell my account, which is frowned upon, and they're doing everything they can to stop that action from happening. But unless I do that, effectively, it's a sunk cost and it's gone, and I'm never going to be able to get it back. In the case of DeFi games and with NFTs, where the players actually own those assets and can do whatever they want with them, if I was to move out of Illuvium and go to another game, I could simply go onto the Illuvidex, which is our decentralized exchange, and sell those assets and recoup maybe not the 2,000 that I put in, but I might be recouping 75% of that. And that in turn is going to make me more comfortable to spend money in the first place, which just bolsters the ecosystem. It creates this massive loop where new players are coming in, they're willing to buy those assets, old players are going out, they recoup their money. And so it's a win-win basically for the players. And the people that lose out, unfortunately, are these very big corporate studios, your Blizzards, your Riots, and whatever. And this stuff is so powerful, that being able to have governance over your game, letting the community decide what the next best move is for the protocol and for the game itself, as in new expansions, new characters. All of that inside DeFi is able to be decided by literally the community. So it's super, super exciting. It's what myself and Aaron as co-founders are most passionate about, simply because it hasn't been done before. And we think, just in general, giving power back to the real people who are playing is going to be so effective in terms of just all the aspects of gaming, in terms of revenue, new customers, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it's come a long way in such a short time. If you are a blockchain gaming organization, is DeFi a no-brainer, or are there cases where you wouldn't want to go down that path?
I mean, it's a good question, because we don't have an example that is 3-4 years on. A lot of what happened is either game developers went, oh, blockchain and DeFi is going to be amazing for our game that's already built and hasn't been designed around having those features, and they just bolted on, right? And that has its issues, right? It's a bit of a lackluster experience. There's some things that they include, some things that they don't. What we decided to do is essentially build it all from the ground up, knowing that every decision in the protocol, whether it be from a financial perspective or a game balancing or characters or anything like that, the next game that we decide, giving that power to the players from the get-go hasn't been done yet. So we think we're very pro decentralization, and we think that giving power back to the players is going to be a very positive thing. However, I'm very aware that in the finance side of a lot of crypto protocols, they're actually paring it back, where they've found that giving the decision power back to the token holders can actually be detrimental in the short term and even the long term for some of these. So I can't give you a definitive answer. I think it's built for gaming. I think the model fits really, really well, but we'll see how we go once we launch.
Yeah, okay. So Alluvia, it's an open world play to earn adventure game. So People who are new to these terms, can you explain it? Can you define it?
Sure. So essentially, think of it like two types of games. Or it's very, very, from a collection standpoint, very, very similar to Pokemon in that you enter an open world. It's free to explore. You've got multiple different regions that you can travel into, and the creatures on this world, these godlike creatures that you need to try and capture in shards, which you actually mine from the surface. And basically, very similar to Pokemon, where you come up in an encounter with a Pokemon and you've got to battle it. Instead of it being a turn for turn based game where it's like, you know, you play water gun and then they play an earth attack and you go back and forth until there's a winner and one faints. We've made it a little bit more interesting, and we've introduced an auto battler style of encounters. And so what that essentially means is there's a lot more strategy that goes into it. The team that you put together is, the power of that team is all dependent on the classes that they have and the synergies between each other. Meaning, you know, if you put, firstly, it's not a one-on-one battle. You go into these battles with multiple alluvials. And so you're really looking to get the strongest team you can with these affinities in order to beat the NPC that you're playing, and then to basically collect those alluvials. So it's a little bit more strategy, but it's very, very similar to Pokemon. And that's one battle type of mode in the game. The other is a battle mode, which essentially is after you have gone around and you've captured these alluvials and you've built up a good team, you're happy with the synergies, you can then start doing PvP battles where you're essentially going up against someone else. There's two arenas there. There's a ranked arena, which is completely fair play. And you go up against someone that you're equally ranked. And you battle it out, and then you have a winner, right? And in terms of that battle mode, it's essentially all about ranking up. You want to get higher and higher and higher, and then eventually start playing tournaments as well. But we also have another battle mode, which is essentially just winner takes all. And so we don't balance it out. We literally just say, you can bring in, so what I mean with that battle mode is you've got big whales in crypto, and they don't want to muck around with going into the open world and capturing alluvials to try and make their team bigger. They're essentially just going to go straight to the exchange, buy the most powerful team they can, enter this arena, and then you can literally say to someone, I'll put up a 10 ether or 100 ether wager that I'm going to beat you. And people can actually spectate and watch this battle take place, and then the winner takes all. And so, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's an interesting. I think both battle modes will be popular, but in crypto, I think there's going to be some really interesting matchups in that Leviathan arena.
Yeah, definitely the wow factor. That does sound like something I'd want to check out. When is that released?
We were originally hoping for Q3, late in Q3. It's probably pushing out to late Q4 or midway through Q4 now. What we're trying to build, typically a AAA game would have a 2 to 3 to even 4 year build phase. We literally said, because we're in crypto and I knew that this market was blowing up, I basically said to our team, you know, we need to upscale as soon as possible and build a AAA game in 12 months, not 3 years. So I'm okay if it slips a little bit, but yeah, we're well and truly trying to get it done this year.
Yeah, warp speed. I bet you have a lot of community members pushing you for that as well.
Oh, Trust me, every single day. If anything is delayed by even a minute, we know about it. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So what are some of the roadblocks that are stopping users from playing and earning at the moment? And like, so there's the cost to enter, for example, and I noticed Illuvium has zero gas fees. So, how does that work? And also, what's in it for Immutable X?
Yeah, so Immutable X at a protocol layer, they get a 1% fee for the transactions that go through, and there's no, and that's a 1% fee that we bear. We don't, we're taking that ourselves, and so effectively, what it means for the player is there'll be absolutely no difference between playing our game and playing something in the mainstream, which you touched on. The biggest one is gas costs. For games in blockchain back 2 years, a year ago, there weren't layer 2 solutions. And so when you're trying to get a mainstream gamer to come across, and all of a sudden every interaction that has to occur on chain, you're seeing MetaMask, and give me $10, $15, $18, depending on gas prices. It really taints the experience that the gamer has. And so what we're seeing at the moment is a large number of these layer 2 and side chain protocols that are launching were utilizing Immutable X, which is another company that's out of Australia. They actually developed Gods Unchained, which I'm not sure if you knew about that one, but that was one of the OG games. And so being on layer 2 and removing those gas fees is by far the biggest issue that blockchain games have overcome in the last 6 to 12 months. Axie Infinity, they just moved to Ronan's sidechain, and since doing that, they've absolutely blown up. And yeah, so that I think is the biggest thing.
Okay, so a lot of blockchain gaming organizations moving towards layer 2.
Yeah, because you just have to. Like, there's no alternative, and people were still playing games on layer 1, but the experience from going from layer 1 to layer 2, like if you look at that Axie example, there's no comparison there.
Gotcha. All right. So just in general, what trends are you seeing at the moment? What's next in the emerging DeFi and the NFT and general crypto movement?
I'm sorry for that I keep on touching on it, but the play to earn element is by far the biggest thing. And the reason why I think that is it's so early on, and we're one title that is offering. So we're offering 1 million ILV, which is essentially $80 million in in-game yield that people can earn, and it's simply just by playing the game. There's nothing else that can offer it, and mainstream games, they can't offer it either. And so we're one title that's offering $80 million worth of yield. We already know of 5 or 6 big studios, and I'm talking ones that have raised 40 mil plus like us, that are going to be offering similar sort of stuff. And I think by the end of 2023, there's going to be probably somewhere between $2 to $5 billion in in-game yield that has been issued or that is on offer for gamers. And when you're talking about that amount of money, in particularly developing countries that, they have an internet connection, and you're talking about giving them the opportunity to earn more money playing a game than actually, going and doing building or whatever. It becomes this ridiculous magnet to this space. The only thing stopping it right now is that the games just aren't up to scratch compared to mainstream. Once that's fixed, and that will happen over the next couple of years, it's going to be too much money for gamers to deny. And I think out of and the other thing is there's 3 billion gamers around the world. We've probably only got 1 million, maybe even less, in blockchain games right now. So the market opportunity is just ridiculous. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for us.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so you mentioned like the in-game yields for gamers there. Well, they're huge by the sounds of things. What does it mean for investors then in blockchain gaming companies?
So, I mean, it's twofold. There's over the next couple of years, if my prediction comes true and a bunch of these studios start building these AAA games in the space, it opens up a huge opportunity for investors to get in early and see, okay, which are the ones that we think are going to make it, which ones have long-term revenue strategies, all that kind of stuff. And so I think there's probably 10 projects coming out in the next couple of years where there'll be awesome investment opportunities. I'm certainly looking myself. We don't think we're going to be lone rangers here. We're in fact the opposite. We think this is going to be so attractive that there's going to be so many big studios that are looking to raise money, which creates that opportunity for the investors. And yeah, I mean, there's going to be unparalleled ability to invest in these really, really successful projects. And then from there, and obviously I'm very biased and I'm very bullish on NFTs and gaming, but if we start getting these 3 billion gamers to come across and go into blockchain, where do they go after that? Then all of a sudden they've got token yields. Now all of a sudden they've got a wallet. They've really adopted crypto. The next thing is, okay, well, what can I do with these tokens? Can I deposit them somewhere and earn yield? So I think that it's just a massive opportunity for everyone. And I think if it does anything similar to what DeFi's growth was last year, there'll be plenty of opportunity for investors.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so much opportunity, so much growth. The potential is it's awesome. So all right, well, I think we better wrap it up there. I know you're a busy man, especially post launch. You've got a lot to do, so really appreciate your time, Kieran.
No worries. Thanks so much, Leo.
All right, so if anyone's interested in finding out more about Illuvium, where do you want them to go?
Probably our Discord. That's where most of the action happens. Following our Twitter, we sometimes post things there first, but mainly our Discord, our Telegram, and Twitter. Yeah.
All right, then we'll leave some links for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Kieran. Cheers, mate. Bye.
No worries. Bye.